Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 4 and my name is Jazil Dimas Madi and my partner is Razabila Fauzi. We are discussing about revolution and restoration and my partner will going to explain the first part which is introduction.
Introduction. Each era has different social, political, cultural, economic, and environmental situations, which of course produce different events and trends from one era to another. This ultimately makes every literary work that was born in each era has its own characteristics. As the legendary works of Shakespeare, who were born in the Elizabethan era, and works of Charles Dickens, who were born in the High Victorian era, so through this paper, we will discuss the history of English literature in the era of Revolution and Restoration. First, the Revolution and Restoration era. Second, the characteristics of the Revolution and Restoration era. Third, the major authors and works of the Revolution and Restoration era. The characteristics and historical context. Social, politic, and conflict. With the comeback of Charles II, England's political, social, and religious tenets have changed. Opening of theatres, all the institutions that were closed within the puritanical movement were opened amid the Restoration period. Endless rise of neo-classicism, the Elizabethan Romanticism was nearly over. With the conclusion of the past, literature took a modern soul and viewpoint and a diverse state of mind within the subject and style. Characteristic. First, satire. Dryden's "Make Fleck Know", which was written in heroic couplet, is considered as the best satire respectively. Second, poetry. The Restoration poets completely discarded the romanticism of Elizabethan. Third, drama. The theatres which were closed in 1642 were opened during the Restoration. And last, heroic couplet. Restoration literature adopted the heroic couplet as a poetic medium that is two iambic pentameter lines which rhyme together.
History of the era. In restoring the monarchy with King Charles II, it replaced Cromwell's Commonwealth and its Puritan ethos with an almost powerless monarch whose test has been formed in France. The Restoration replaced the probing, exploring, risk-taking intellectual values of the Renaissance. In the decades between 16 and 60 and 1700. The basis was set for the growth of a new kind of society. This society was Protestant, apart from the brief reign of the Catholic King James II, 6085 to 8080, middle class and unthreatened by any repetition of the huge and dramatic upheavals of the first part of the 17th century. Revolution was the great nightmare of the 18th century British society, and when first the American Revolution of 1676 to the French Revolution of 1789 overturned the accepted order, the United Kingdom exercised all its power to that revolution would not damage its own hard-won security and growing prosperity.
Major authors and works. John Milton, has, since his own lifetime, always been one of the major figures in English literature. He has been seen as a political opportunist and advocate of immorality. He wrote in favor of divorce and married 3 times, an over-serious classicist, and an arrogant believer in his own greatness as a poet. These things He was all these things, but above all Milton's was the less great liberal intelligence of the English Renaissance. John Wilmot, the one individual who epitomizes the spirit of the early Restoration, is John Wilmot, Earl of Rochester. Rochester represented the kind of scandalous extremes of behavior which both titillate and shock proper society. In any age, if such a figure did not exist, it would be almost necessary to invent him, and his death, bad repentance, and conversion to religion makes the story complete. John Dryden, he was poet laureate from 1668 but lost this position in 1688 on the overthrow of James II. Dryden had become Catholic in 1685 and his allegorical poem The Hind and the Panther (1687) discusses the complex issues of religion and politics in an attempt to reconcile bitterly opposed factions. Alexander Pope was, like Dryden after 1685, a Catholic and therefore an outsider in the Protestant-dominated society of the early 18th century. The two men were, however, of totally different generations and background. Pope was 14 when Dryden died and was suffering from the spinal disease which left him deformed and sickly for the rest of his life.
Macbeth is a classic work of the Restoration period. In it, Dryden makes fun of his literary rival. Applied by the name of Thomas Shadwell, the poem is so important because it was written as a mock epic, a satirical work that used the convention of the epic that try to talk about tribal things. Conclusion: the Restoration period is to be seen as one of the Great Restoration of 1688. Moreover, broke about a modern alter in social and political life. The Restoration literature developed realism and the world literature was developed at the time. And that's it for report. Thank
Thank you.